Hello everyone and welcome back to the Graduate Students Guide. My name is Anesu Samuel Masango and today I am joined by Jennifer Gwasira. I'll have her introduce herself in a few words and then we get right into it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anesu. I'm really excited to be a part of this project today. Like you said, I'm Jennifer. I am a graduate student. I'm doing a master's in German studies here at the University of Arizona, and I'm in my second and final year of the program.
All right. Well, I guess we say Guten Tag, everyone.
Guten Tag. Ja, genau. Awesome.
All right. Okay, so, Guten Tag, Guten Morgen, Guten Abend.
Guten Tag, genau.
Yeah,
Yeah.
genau. Yeah.
Remember.
I know a little bit. Krankenwagen.
Okay, just throw out
Krankenhaus.
all the words you know, right?
Yeah, just like that.
Just give them what you have and they'll do with it what they can. You know?
All right. So, Jennifer is a graduate student here at the University of Arizona, all the way from Africa. From which country specifically?
I am from Zimbabwe.
From Zimbabwe,
Yes.
right? Down there by the Limpopo and Zambezi, right? Okay, can you share a little bit about your background and what brought you to the University of Arizona for your graduate studies?
Yeah, for sure. So I was born and raised in Zimbabwe. Going to school, we were really encouraged to learn languages, and there's an opportunity that came up actually when I was in high school to do a year abroad, sort of like an exchange year, and I did this with the Rotary International. And so this took me to Germany, and that kind of like sprung this my German life and my German journey. So basically I spent a year in Germany where I ended up learning the language because that's kind of what the point was, right?
Yes.
And I mean, you can kind of say that German chose me. I didn't choose German because
Okay.
I initially actually wanted to come here for my exchange, but I ended up in Germany, and this forced me to learn the language, like I've already said, and so I became a bit adamant, like, I need to do something with this in my life. I mean, I really love languages, but now that I've got German and it's like taken up all the space of like the space for international languages in my brain.
Yes.
I need to make do with what I've got right now. So I went and studied German and linguistics at the University of Zimbabwe when I came back home, and then after I got done, I had expressed to some of my my professors back then that I would really like to do a master's of some sort, either in linguistics or in German studies. And it just so happens that my professor was friends with a current student here who sent the call for applications for the German program here to my professor, who then sent it to me. And I thought that was pretty cool that, you know, they were just like, I mean, it showed me the importance of connections, right? The importance of networking and the importance of talking about the things that you want to do, the things that you're passionate about, because that's, I mean, unless you talk about it, it's the only way people are going to know how and if they can help you. So I did apply, and I think what really made me feel confident about applying to the University of Arizona was the really good communication and recruitment work that the director of the German Studies department did with me. It was so personal, you know. I was like, wow, she doesn't know me. I am just Jen from Zimbabwe. We've never met. We've never really seen each other virtually either, but she really put in a lot of effort to communicate with me, respond to my bajillion emails, asking so many questions. I even felt annoyed by myself. I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to ask this again, but can you please help me with this information? And she just responded so well. I think sometimes you can tell someone's like energy and kindness through the email that they send, right? The language they use. And I felt that warmth. And that kind of just made me feel more confident and safe in my decision to apply here. And I also heard that the German department here is like one of the best in the country. So that that felt good to try and be a part of something like that. And that's how I ended up here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. So if you don't get it already, today we are talking about global perspectives. We're trying to highlight University of Arizona's international graduate student community, sharing their experiences, challenges, and ways that the Graduate Center promotes cultural exchange and the university as a whole. So here we are with Jennifer talking about her journey and how she got to the University of Arizona and how, her program is so welcoming and it was, as you say, German chose her.
German chose me. I didn't choose this life. This life chose me.
All right. So my next question to you then is, what were your initial impressions when you arrived on campus?
On campus, well, I have to just backtrack a little bit and say before coming here, I think much like a lot of people do, I tried my best to find like all of the pictures, all of the videos I could find about Tucson, about the campus here at the U of A. And I remember seeing pictures and videos specifically because it had just been graduation season. And I remembered seeing lots of videos and pictures of like graduates taking pictures at the fountain at Old Main. And I was like, wow, I just want to go there. And I remember seeing lots of palm trees and I was like, wait a minute, are we going to the desert? Are we going to the beach? Where are we going? This is like palm trees, what's going on, right? And so my first impression was really just that it was just so beautiful. It's so well kept. It's so nice to walk around and feel like, wow, this is just, it's beautiful, you know? And that's kind of my impression, that's been my impression since I've arrived. I love walking around campus, just kind of like taking it all in. I also thought it was huge. I wasn't expecting how big it was. Just having to walk from like building to building. Luckily, mine are usually around the same area, but it's pretty big. It's a very big campus, and that was also something that I noticed. And safety. I think I felt a lot of safety coming in here. And this might be because, before coming here, they had us take these workshops and that sort of thing on campus safety and just learning about the different things that have been implemented, the different resources that have been implemented for student safety. Yeah, it definitely made me feel like, okay, I can walk around campus and it can get a bit dark and I will be okay.
All right. Wow, that's really great.
Yeah.
How about the heat?
Okay, I actually wrote this down here and I was like, should I mention it? Let's not be generic, but whoa. No, the heat, that's the thing. It wasn't my first impression of campus. It was my first impression of walking out the airport. It like just smacks you. The heat just smacks you across the face. It's insane. It's insane. And I don't think you get used to it actually.
No.
The heat in Tucson? No, you don't get used to it. Like you don't get used to the heat, but you get used to the idea of like constantly being like sweaty and just like, you just don't get frustrated anymore. I think that's the used to it that you get, right? You're just like, oh, you know what, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot today. Yeah.
I as an international student myself, I'm still complaining about the heat. I won't stop. Sorry, Tucson. I love you so much, but it's hot. Somebody needs to turn on the AC. All right. Great. So being part of the international graduate student community at this university, could you tell us about some of the unique experiences and challenges you've encountered while pursuing your degree and in a different country and a different cultural environment, any cultural shock, stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think a unique experience is you have this feeling of, well, particularly in my position, I traveled all the way across here and I don't have family ties on this end of the world. And so it was kind of like a brand new start in the best way possible. So this is a fresh kind of, you're starting afresh and no one knows you here. And so you get to start creating your storyline. You get to start creating or perhaps coming into tune with your identity because you are faced with those questions, right? Hey, who are you? And it's like, then you become a bit more cognizant of the fact that when people ask you who you are, this is what you first say. I'm Jennifer, I'm from Zimbabwe. And I'm like, oh wow, so this is me identifying as a Zimbabwean, and that's a really strong part of who I am, right? And that's been really, really cool. I think just being able to experience me in a kind of like a new light and being able to create the storyline I want, right? The Jennifer I want to be perceived as. And on challenges, wow, okay, the challenges are a lot longer than the unique experiences. We talked about the heat. That was a huge challenge for me at first. No one could have prepared me for that. I just didn't see it coming. I knew it was hot, but I didn't think it would be hot for that long.
Yeah.
It just doesn't end, you know?
Yeah,
and I remember just walking around, like the second day I was here, I was walking around and I had a bottle that I had frozen with water, and this is just a normal like clear plastic bottle, and by the time like it hadn't been 30 minutes, but that water had like defrosted. It was like warm and I'm confused. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? It's just so hot. I don't know where I am. You know, and everything is so new, and I think that was a bit of a challenge. Another thing was probably the food. That was very different for me. So it's not necessarily that it's the food items, because I mean, cuisine there's a range of cuisine. Yes, there are some traditional foods I don't have access here to that I do have back in Zimbabwe, but I think it was more so the quality of the food. I guess it was just not sitting well with me, so it just wasn't working. And it took a bit of a while until I got settled into some kind of a routine and figuring out the food thing. Maybe one or two other things is the time difference with back home. So, you know, trying to stay connected and communicating with people back home was a bit tough, because I am waking up when they're going to bed. It's the middle of the night when they're trying to message me. I don't know. It's just having to kind of work around that and work with people's times. And it just taught me to be a bit more intentional with scheduling. You know, it's funny that you have to now schedule times to talk with your own family. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a bit challenging. And then obviously the biggest one would probably be this work-life balance. That is a huge myth. Like balancing work and study and also trying to have like a life. As a graduate student, wow. Someone needs to show me the way, because I do not know how to get there. It's just
you should listen to one of our episodes on this podcast titled Navigating Graduate Life. There's some really good tips in there.
Awesome. I'll
check
have
it out
a listen
when it comes out.
And I think that would sum up my unique experiences and some of the challenges I faced.
All right. I mean, dear listeners, if you did not know, your dear host is also from Zimbabwe, and I can confirm the things she's talking about. I experienced the very same things when I moved here, and it can be a bit difficult. I fortunately had somebody that when I got here, I already knew and I was staying with, and who was showing me, okay, this is how we do things, and they could actually already knew how to cook some of the food that they knew I would like and all that. So it wasn't as tough as you described. You just moved and there was absolutely no one. Man, you were so brave. I believe that's the same experience with a lot of international graduate students as well. 100%. I believe. You've also come across some. And I think they also tell similar stories, right?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of us are definitely branching out on our own, so to speak. And so it's just new experiences almost on your own in the world, right? And quite daunting, but exciting at the same time. And it's a choice we made, right? It's the decision we made. And so we're sticking with it.
Stick with it all the way through. All right. So, I mean, the University of Arizona aims to promote cultural exchange among its international student community. Could you share an example of a cultural exchange experience or event that you've been a part of, and how it contributed to your personal and academic growth?
Yeah, for sure. I do want to share too. So, in terms of my cultural exchange within the scope of my professional development, I think the university kind of has so many resources, and I'm a part of the Global Ambassadors, which is like a program that is initiated by the International Student Services. And so being a part of this group has really helped me kind of connect both with international students, but also with some local students who are part of the program as well, or with whom we interact. And this has been really rewarding for me to share my experiences, to share my insights, and to also get a lot from them as well, and to kind of like help each other navigate this turf that we're all on, right? And then I think also the events, I'm going to say events in plurality because there's a lot of them. And I can say like from across the board, whether it's the ISS, so International Student Services, or if it's my specific college, like the College of Humanities, for example, and we're doing an event that encompasses all of the departments, and you get to see, and actually College of Humanities has, we have the languages, and so you see a lot of cultural exchange when we meet. Like there's literally all of the languages that you can.
Somebody is saying Guten Tag here, another
exactly.
says Tranquility over there. Somebody is
precisely. Someone is saying Gracias over there, and I don't know other languages, so I'm not going to pretend. But yeah, that's precisely it, right? And then, and just recently we did. I came here actually to the Graduate Center, and we had donuts with the dean, which I thought was really I thought that was really cool because I was expecting it to be like this like formal event. I don't know, because culturally that's what I expect, right? When you have someone like a dean, there's just like the power dynamics are so pronounced. And coming here and sitting with her and having a conversation. I remember someone asking, so I just want to confirm, are you the dean? And she's like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you didn't give off that energy of like, I'm up here and you guys are down here, and it was just a really good and great exchange. And I think it did show some cultural difference, right? And to kind of see the way dynamics change across cultures.
Yes, amazing. I love you mentioned that because I've seen it certainly. I did my medical studies in the Ukraine. The person I would get to meet with was the vice dean. I never met the dean. Met him once. Was giving a huge speech and a huge, and that's the same thing in Zimbabwe as well. You never really get to, really get that personal with them, and it's something that's really different. And it's like, oh, okay, is this actually?
Right.
You feel honored. You feel like, well,
you do, and it doesn't take away from the respect you have for these people. And that's I think that's the beauty of it, because sometimes you think that there needs to be such a big power distance for you to respect someone, when in actuality you can be very personal with them but still hold them in high regard. Yeah.
Great, amazing. Okay. Wait. So do you go to those international student services, like trip to the international market and stuff like that?
Yes, actually I took some of them just before we started semester. Well, I think it was a week into semester, and we did take a trip to Lily Market. And it was my first time going to Lily Market as well, actually. And you can get like really great stuff there. It's pretty broad. There's a wide range. But that was really cool. And we do also do some trips to Elcon Mall. So that's a great resource again, because you don't always know what's going on and where to get what, and having that on hand and being given free transport helps.
It does.
It does.
I mean, I'm always in the know. When I got here, I was like, okay, I gotta set up myself in a way that something that's going on campus that has to do with me, affects me, or I might be interested in. I want the information to come to me. Sign up for newsletters, the Graduate Center newsletter. If you have not signed up, dear listener, please do. The newsletters, all the communication channels got on downloaded applications to be in the know. But guess what? I haven't been able to go to Lily's Market because every time it's scheduled at a time where I have a meeting, I'm in class, or something is happening, or I'm out of town, and
I know. We're working on that. We're trying to do mornings now, and hopefully that will help. On the weekends, like a Sunday morning. I hope that works.
Sunday morning would be great.
So that's coming up. Look out for that.
Great. I'll keep my eye on that one. Great. Okay. Now, collaboration and networking. Right. This is a very important for graduate students. After this, getting into your career, you gotta have a good network.
For sure.
And then they are very essential for graduate education as well. Can you describe any instances where you've had the opportunity to collaborate with fellow students from diverse cultural backgrounds, and how has this enriched your academic journey?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. On collaboration, I think that's something that's hugely promoted across the board of the graduate college.
Yeah.
And specifically within my space of humanities, there are a lot of courses, for example, that are cross-listed, and so it's not just from the German department. It's like a German department course, but it's available to everyone who's within the humanities, right?
Okay.
And so that's kind of the space where we get to experience and learn from, share with people from different departments, and in so doing from different cultural backgrounds and all of that good stuff. And so for me specifically, one that stands out to me is a course I took in the spring, and this was cross-listed, so it was open to everyone in the College of Humanities, and it was one-on assessment, and I ended up doing this project with one of the girls who is, I think she's in the English department, however she is Russian, and we were working on a project together on assessment. And just learning from her, she's just so wise, and she's also an experienced grad student. She's been doing this, she's been here. And so learning from her was really, really great. It was good to see different perspectives, again, sharing different ways of doing things and, I don't know, different ideas, right? And that was really just a very good experience for me to kind of see the different ways that you can use, the resources that are available to us to make your experience in grad school a lot better. I will also say it's helped to make friends. I think making friends is not such a simple concept when you are this old, and specifically in grad school.
Yeah, it's not.
Because you make a lot of connections in terms of colleagues or in terms of co-workers. I'm not sure right now what the difference is, but you know people, yes. Right? And so you know this person from there, you know this person from there, and you can say, hi, how are you? But like friendship is something different, right? Yeah. And so I've been able to make some really good connections, really good friendships with some of the people that I've been so fortunate to work with. And I think in terms of networking, which is again a really big deal, and it's also, I would call it a skill, because it's also something that's not, I don't think it's that intuitive actually. So with networking, it's workshops. I've noticed that going to workshops, so it's a lot of putting yourself out there. Attending workshops and asking the questions, right? Attending workshops and talking with people. And I know that sometimes this is quite uncomfortable, but it's something that I've kind of learned to step out of my little comfort box and attend these workshops. And even in attendance, sometimes there's a lot that you can gain from that. Just kind of seeing how other people do things is so enriching. And the last thing would be the career fair. I had never been, but I'm reaching the end of my master program, and I've been getting lots of emails from the graduate center, like there's a career fair here, and there's this and there's
running
that.
Right now, Jen.
and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try, And so I attended the workshop on my resume, on how to create a resume, and I put it together, and that was a great resource because I felt more confident with something that I'd been taught to make. And I write there, and I talked to these people, and they gave me a lot of information. It was very insightful in terms of like just making connections, getting their cards, giving them my resume, giving them my card, them saying, okay, well, this may not be for you, but you know what, it was so great meeting you, and I actually know someone else who would be a better fit for whatever you're describing. And that's where I see how rewarding it is to attend these things, right? It's not always going to be when you're there, you're going to get what you're looking for. If you do, that's fantastic, but being able to meet people who also know people. People know people, and it's important to know those people.
One day you're gonna say, I know a guy who knows a guy.
Exactly.
Right, that is great networking. I mean, it's amazing how you get to meet other people who are also going through the same thing.
For sure.
Sometimes there's things that you think, well, I feel like I'm falling back, and then somebody says they're going through the same thing. I'm like, is everybody going through this? And another person says a similar thing. It's like, okay, fine, I think I'm normal.
Yeah, for sure. No, it helps. It helps a lot.
All right. Final question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to other international students who maybe are considering similar, educational path as yours?
Yeah, that's a really big one. I think I can offer maybe three pieces of advice. The first one would be to really research and get to know the university that you are intending on applying to, or that you have intentions of attending. It's just really important to kind of know what the university offers, if they have resources that are in line with what you need, right? And that's just a really important aspect, to also know what is on offer for you, what you have access to. And I think that's something that goes without say. Definitely research and make sure you're okay with it. Research the space that you're going to be in. Are you feeling safe within that space? Do you feel represented, and all of that? I think that's really important. The second thing is to ask a lot of questions. I talked about how I asked the director of my department like a bajillion questions, and I genuinely did. She can testify to that. I asked all the questions I was thinking, and no question is too bothersome. Get down, get dirty with it, and really ask the hard and the tough questions, and make sure you've got the information you need to make an informed decision. And this goes for both the students and the faculty. If you have access to students who are in the position you are aspiring to be in, it's always good to have a chat with them as well. And I think a lot of universities offer those spaces where you can get in touch with current students, to kind of share their experiences and what's going on, and take those experiences, and obviously, yes, everything with a pinch of salt, but it helps.
Yes.
And the third and final thing I would say is probably to be open to putting yourself out there. It's so scary moving across the world, or moving whatever space you're moving from or towards. That move is a huge deal, especially if you are thinking about studying, because that means at the very least 2 years of your life, right? And you need to be open to making new connections. And when I say this, I mean being very intentional about it. And so don't just talk to people for the sake of like brushing it over. Be quite intentional about the things that you're asking. Be very intentional. I can't speak anymore. Be very intentional about the connections that you're trying to make, right? And to be genuine, because we are talking about how you need to network, and I think with that comes a lot of being personal with people. People help the people that they know, right? And you're not just gonna look at someone and suddenly help them, but talk about what you want to do. A friend of mine, I heard her saying something about, you can only feed the mouth that is open, right? And so you definitely need to talk and say what it is that you are wanting to do, what are your aspirations, and in so doing, someone might know someone might have a resource, someone might have something you can access to make that dream a reality.
All right, amazing.
Yeah.
Folks, you heard it from Jennifer herself, all the way from Zimbabwe, thousands of miles from here. That is a real global perspective on moving to the University of Arizona and what it's been like to be here. And so I hope that opens an eye to what goes on in the international student community.
Yeah.
And yes, I hope you continue to engage with each other, promote, help each other, lift each other up as we are on this professional journey. And that said, I'm just gonna thank Jennifer once again for accepting the invitation to come on this podcast and share her perspective. And we'll call it a day. See you next time, and don't forget to tune in again. Bye.